Hey, I am back to make my next vlog, and I have my dog with me again, one of my dogs. Just a little update since my last video where I talked about being adopted and all of that. Basically, I have sent in all the paperwork that I need to be able to get any information about my biological mom that I can possibly get. So, yay for that. I'm excited for this. And, yeah, I'm really excited to see what I can figure out about myself and about my biological mom. So, there's that. Like I mentioned before, I was sexually abused at a young age. It was by two distant cousins who were adopted from a distant relative from a different country. So I don't know their whole adoption story, everything they've been through, but I do know that like what they had done to me wasn't okay. And they would be over every once in a while because my mom would babysit them, and we would just be in the backyard playing, like, because they were only 2, 3, 4 years older than me, maybe, not that much older than me. And so it wasn't weird to be playing with your relatives, you know, like you're all hanging out together, just playing outside. But the first time it happened, I was 5 years old, and basically what I remember from that day is being in this little playhouse that I had, and basically they were touching me in my no-no spots, as we always called them as kids. And, you know, like you tell them, like I remember saying, like, oh, you're not supposed to do this, or like, you can't touch me there, or like whatever. And I remember telling one of my parents about it after it happened, after they had gone home, and they were like, oh, I'm sure it's an accident, like if it happens again, just kind of like tell them to stop. Well, next time they were over and we were alone and hanging out, it happened again. And I told them, hey, like, my parents said, you can't touch me here, like, you can't do that, like, it's a no-no, like, you need to stop. And then they threatened me. They were like, oh, like, we're just playing, like, nothing's wrong, like, you don't need to tell your parents, you don't need to bring them into this, like, and they threatened me, like, oh, we're gonna hurt you if you tell, or, like, just little things like that. And when you're a little kid, like, and you're being threatened, it's obviously, like, you're gonna be afraid. That's not normal. So I dealt with that, and it pretty much happened almost every time they were over, every time my mom was babysitting. So it was pretty frequent until we moved up here to Visalia. So once we moved, it was a relief because I wouldn't see them as frequently. But I do remember the last time it happened, like clear as day. It was at a family reunion, and I was 12 years old, and it was in a supply closet where they kept like extra tables and chairs and like vacuums and just random things like that. And I remember they had me pinned to a wall and were doing things to me that nobody wants done to them forcefully, and like especially by a relative. And I remember that because I was telling them to stop and they wouldn't. They covered my mouth because I was trying to be loud, and they continued, and it was really traumatizing for me. And that's when something inside me snapped and was like, I don't put up with this anymore. And I remember coming out of that closet crying, and I pulled my parents aside and I told them, like, hi, hey, I need to go home. Like, we need to go can we go home? And I told them what happened, and immediately, like, called a family meeting, kind of called those relatives and told them about it, and they said that their sons denied everything, like they never did that. So, yeah, we don't have contact with them anymore. But I, right then and there, started counseling, and that's been amazing help for me, because I wouldn't know how to handle going through that, because it's really traumatizing. And it's like, I just know after the first few times that it happened, I just became an angry child, and like I was always getting in trouble, and like I wasn't happy. Like, I had two emotions. I was either like happy and playful, or I was angry. Like, I didn't express any other emotions. And that's because when something that traumatic happens to you, it messes with your emotions. You don't know how to respond to situations well. You don't feel things the way you should. You don't react. It's really damaging to a person going through that. And I'm very thankful for the help that I have gotten. I mean, still to this day, I have flashbacks of it, bad memories. I get uncomfortable watching certain movies and shows, and it's just the way life is, but I am continuously getting better and recovering from it. But it's definitely not something you would ever wish upon someone, and it's a life-changing experience. And I know it kind of messed up some trust issues that I had with my family and my parents, because they didn't believe me the first time, and so it was kind of like that made me question, like, if I can trust them or if they're there for me. But we've definitely gotten through that, fixed that, mended that bridge, gotten through that issue, thankfully, praise God. But they definitely put in the time and the effort that I needed to recover, and they took the time to find the right counselor for me, for help me get through this. And I'm very thankful for that. I'm thankful for the continuous support that they give me. Yeah, it's definitely, I don't want to say I have PTSD from it, but that is what my counselor at the time compared it to, is that some of the flashbacks and dreams and memories that I have of it are like someone with PTSD. So it's really hard at times, but that's with anything, any experience in life. So, but yeah, this one was kind of heavy. But I mean, I'm at this point where I'm feeling called, and like I feel like it's the right thing to truly open up about things that have happened in my life and things that I've gone through that a lot of people don't know about. People might want to ask questions, and I'm more than okay with answering any questions that people have. It's just because I know that I felt so alone having gone through all that, until I heard someone my sophomore year of high school stand up on stage at my high school and talk about them being abused, them being sexually abused, them being used and thrown away, and all those things. And I felt so alone until a random stranger stood up on a stage and told their story. So I don't want other people out there to be feeling alone if I know that I can say something to help people. If I'm able to help people, I want to. And that's why I'm doing this. That is why I feel it so strongly in my heart that it is what I'm supposed to do. So that's why I've decided to make these vlogs. That's why I've decided to talk about this very difficult and personal issue. But I mean, you never fully recover until you're able to talk about it and help other people through it. That's what my counselor told me a long time ago, and I'm finally starting to come full circle with all of it. So, yeah, that is just that part of my life. And I still struggle with the emotional issues because you never fully recover, like I said, but I'm getting better, and I'm thankful that I have my family and my close friends there that have helped me through day in and day out. So, thank you for listening.